So what all do you do exactly?
Fences, and then we have some welding contracts for some
you look
apartments through Dirt, and then tree service.
I got a special
Nobody knows about the welding.
Do you do the pergola or pergola?
But she just told me about that pergola, but we were going to get you set up with somebody who did that. We didn't.
See, we reached out through you.
Yes, ma'am. No, we
we'd rather send everything and you can decide if you want to. YouTubers, are we live?
We're live on YouTube.
Hey, YouTubes. Thank you for coming in. We got my boy Roy Fraser right here. Hey, can y'all see that?
Your fences are awesome. If we didn't put ours up already, we wouldn't use it.
Yeah. So, what kind of insurance do you specialize in?
Auto, home, and life.
Make it simple.
Make it simple. It's as simple as it gets.
And why should people use the Farm Bureau?
I've been around a long time. Good agents, good experience, good working relationship with the contractors. You got to have that if you have a claim.
Now we got my other boy Travis Bruce over here. Why? Tell us everything you do. We're over here on the YouTube stream. You ain't got to look at this. This is real casual.
Yeah, we build fences, mostly residential, and also have a tree service. And try to serve our clients and fences and trees.
What kind of tree service? What does that mean? You come cut them down or
removal, pruning, stump grinding, that kind of thing.
Okay,
stump grinding.
See, we need to put that out there for Travis. I didn't even realize that. So. Hey, YouTubers, I'll be right back. Whatever y'all say, it is going to be recorded, so be careful. What is that, Instagram?
This is Instagram.
Are we live?
Well, I can take it down.
No.
Joey, our favorite landscaper, is on. Hang in there, Joey.
So how are you doing multiple feeds, like Instagram, Facebook, out of one camera? How do you do that? Can you share your, I know we're on broadcast, can you share your secrets?
We use multiple phones.
Okay, that's what I figured.
So
this one's going to YouTube.
Yes, so this is automatically streaming right now directly to YouTube.
Okay. That one is going
Instagram. And then this will be Facebook.
Is that a camera?
No, we'll put.
Oh, you put a phone in there. Okay.
And then we will put Steven's assistant Libby. She'll put her camera up for Steven's Instagram. So to catch.
Wow. Cool.
And then we log into my husband's and make it look like he's on. Yes.
Keep that quiet.
Yes. And then I found this. I follow a lot of people, and I've been trying to, when they flip the camera down by accident, that's when I catch. Like,
I think Cardone uses one of those.
Robert Sislow, Tommy.
Yes. Okay. Yes.
So I'm trying to watch to learn what are they using.
Because one day I saw Cardone. I saw this big round light behind him. I think he keeps the light behind him and holds his phone. He just holds his phone.
Joey says perception is reality. Yes, sir, it is. Our sponsors came today to check on our sets.
It's looking good.
But yeah, and then what I would like to get is two big lights above. But
could you just do track lighting?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's not like
on my Facebook, Tommy Davidson. Watch me now, right now.
Oh, but because it's not really, it's John's building, so you have to act like,
I'm sure he lets you put some track
I
lighting
think he would like it because his guy Brian does a lot of videos of John in
Yeah. Man, they're way behind us.
Yeah.
We're the best. We're the greatest. We're the greatest. We're the greatest.
Do you need a fan at all? Because it gets hot up here.
Well, man,
Just how we sit.
Yeah, let me get in before you get in over
I
there.
gotta get my phone, my fan, man.
Phone, a fan.
I'm gonna leave my fan. I think we're all right.
But then I found that Facebook will give your stuff out to more people if it's shared. Like share is worth 10 points. So I'm constantly going in there and sharing.
Yeah.
Were these for something?
For y'all?
Okay.
For your pretty hair. Did you get your hair? Oh, you didn't get your haircut yesterday.
No, these are everybody clothes.
Wish I had enough hair to get a haircut once a week.
And man, I thought I spent money getting my haircut. What am I doing?
So is there a program you could buy that would feed it all into one?
Probably. I don't know.
On a budget.
Yeah.
That's what we need.
Yeah. I mean, this isn't bad.
Yeah.
But it would be nice when he does his straight from the gut, then he could have more
Yeah.
out there.
This is a long title.
It's just like-
Why do you need insurance? I also have a good recommendation for you if you need a fence.
But do you need insurance on your fence? That's the question.
Do I need insurance on the golden retriever?
No.
Okay.
Instead of doing everybody, they just want to, since he's here today, just really.
Travis,
Bless you.
Bless you.
I'm going to subtly bring Travis in. We're really interviewing him.
Subtly.
Subtly. So
Subtly.
you just.
Travis, do you have a hat that you would like us to put on the set for
I
next
do
time?
not.
You can-
My
I know, Scott, he changed his logo, so we gotta change his sign.
Well, usually we call out all the sponsors, but this time we'll just do. If you have one of them on, I think we ought to just do that one, don't you?
The T went out, man.
We're,
The T went out.
Who does
I
that?
changed the batteries. that's the
We had
one.
budget cuts.
We can only afford to light up 3.
Steve Zavisa.
Hey, Roy Fraser, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you
Man, hey, that's.
Travis
Steve.
Bruce.
Hey, Travis, nice to meet you.
So if your clients ever need a fence, Travis is your guy.
All right. All right.
Yeah, fence, homeowners insurance. We got it
Some
covered.
will move on.
We got you covered.
Yeah, since it steals with him, you want me to step out and then come in, or what?
No, you just sit right here. Hey, I want to tell everybody we're going to be seen together at all times. Hey, so we're on YouTube right now.
You are live on YouTube right now.
YouTube, hey, Stevie Zavisa's in the studio with us, YouTubers.
Please go to
Hello, everybody.
GoodTimeTommy.com.
Studio Z. Did everybody have a good 4th of July?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I was going over to Bert's house and I saw he put a fence up.
Did you put Bert's fence up?
Was Bert easy to deal with? Hey,
He didn't try to swap you out coaching for a fence, did he?
Oh, wait.
No.
Okay. You wouldn't have made that trade. You wouldn't have made that trade, would you?
Yeah, I would.
Oh,
we're
yeah.
live now. Hey, YouTubers, I'm jumping on here with you.
Hey, do we need the fat guy in the medium?
Fat guy.
Is that the extra large?
No, this is the medium. When Tommy first got his shirts, he I don't even know if it's fit me.
Got it from the discount place, huh?
Who's on here with me? Is that you, Kathleen?
No.
Somebody jumped on here with me. Hey, YouTube, appreciate you getting on here. My name's Tommy Davidson. If you don't know who I am, I apologize, but I go by hashtag GTT or GoodTimeTommy. Weatherman looking good. Well, Seth, Weatherman is always.
Wow.
Hey,
Got
so,
it.
so hey, let's get it started,
I should have
Kathleen.
worn my shirt backwards.
You guys are on.
The red and the pink flash, but it's okay.
That's all right.
It's pretty red.
No, man, can everybody see you? I don't know if everybody can see you, Weatherman.
You know they'll just tune in and see me anyway.
Oh, hey, I need my boys to scoot in a little bit. Travis, I need you in a little bit. Come on, Roy.
Don't block the
It
weatherman.
it takes us a little while. Okay, now we're in there a little bit. Hey, we're in there. Hey, however you need to adjust it, Kathleen. Let's make sure we don't drown everybody out with the noise. Brittany Renee, I see you're on here. You already love it. Hey, love the shirts. Appreciate it. Roy Fraser, you've already shared Weatherman. Everybody, it's Wednesday, 1 o'clock. That means it's Real Estate 101 with me, GTT, and
AKA your boy, the host with the most,
we haven't,
the
we haven't
weatherman.
seen the Weatherman in days. Today, if you notice, our set has grown. We like to spread the love to people that help us, and these two people are both huge in our success. When we need things, they help us out. Hey, I'm sorry.
Nate, my barber's on guy, makes me look pretty. Nate, sorry I had it covered up this week, but my guy's here. My guy's here.
Weatherman almost went in. I want to introduce these guys, and you go in with other sponsors. Okay. Today, I got two of my buddies here, Travis Peruce, who is helping. Hey, can you see that? Can you see back there? Hey, everywhere I go, Travis goes with me. What all do you do, Travis? I know you do fences, stump grind, stump removal. What could the average Joe out there, what could they use you for?
It'd be residential fencing and any kind of tree service, whether it's pruning, shaping, removal, stump grind, but mostly mostly fences.
What kind of fences?
Chain link, aluminum.
Chain link. People still doing chain link fences?
People
Does
still
Michael
doing chain
Bird?
link.
Does Coach Bird have a chain link fence?
He does not.
We were at Coach's house yesterday. I walked right up and I saw you right there, and we made a post. It was our favorite post of the day. Pardon the pun. And today in studio we got Roy Fraser, Farm Bureau Insurance. We're gonna put this man on the hot seat. All the times you got to pay these premiums. You complain about your insurance, but he's going to answer a lot of questions. Weatherman, you take it over. We're coming right back to you, Roy.
I'm not coming in on my Wi-Fi. So anyway, hey, well, let's talk. So you introduce these two?
Yep, you just keep right on.
All right, so hey, let's go with the big guy first. He's been on about a 28 tour, college tour. He's out of town. So John Jones, we want to thank you for allowing us to continue to do what we do. I'd like to thank Melinda Ibeer Morgan. She is definitely somebody that attacks the file. She's like a saltwater crocodile. That's what she is this week.
Is that a such thing?
Yes, it
and
is.
What is this you've been holding out on?
That's my notes.
What is
But
this?
so Melinda is definitely goes above and beyond. There's a reason she's number one. Bug Solutions, we can't thank those guys enough. Scott Abernathy with PMI, Property Management.
Had lunch with him.
Had lunch with him today. He doesn't know as much as he thought he did. We kind of proved him wrong on a couple of things, but that's another topic. My man, the trout magnet, out sporting his stuff, Roy Fraser, who has my son insured, who I think enough of that I send my own family to him. And then you've already talked about.
And we got the big kahuna, Shane Ray.
I wasn't ready. I wasn't finished.
We're little. Hey, listen, man.
Aloha.
We got such a big audience today.
Aloha heating and air. And Southern Exteriors. We want to thank you. The shirts look awesome. Everybody talks about how great they look. And we get a lot of people asking, hey, what is that? So it's definitely, a lot of people are definitely raising a lot of attention to. So thank you so much for a great cause. My aunt personally is dealt with this, so it's hit my family and like most families. So it's just an honor that you did that. So I appreciate it for me and my family. So, and you too, GTT.
Thank you, Weatherman. Everybody, you know what I need?
Please
like, please comment, please share. I'm on a mission. If people ask, why does he do all this stuff? I want 131,000 people in this town to know me, what I do. Trying to get to know.
You know what I noticed?
131,000 people. Go ahead, Weatherman.
These shirts make my arms look big. You noticed that?
I do now.
Woo! All right, back to the show. Back to the show.
All right, let's get serious. Everybody that's on here, I appreciate it. I really would appreciate it if you'd share the stream today. These pink shirts, in case anybody's wanting to know, we are trying to raise money for Reconstruction for America. That's what it's called. Reconstruction for Life. I'm on the 4th of July. I'm at Reconstruction for Life. And this goes to people that need surgery, breast cancer. What is it called? You say it better than me.
It's like a double mastectomy.
Yes, or even burn victims that aren't covered by insurance. It just gives them a second chance.
And we're trying to raise $10,100. So, Stevie.
That's it?
Oh, hey, $20,000. Well, the reason why I want to do 10,000 is because that's the most ever. So enough of that. Today we're going to talk about how you can help people, but more importantly, today is Roy's day, the trout magnet. Hey, let's get him in Zoom. Is he in? Can you see him? I'm probably okay. So homeowners insurance seems very simple. It seems like if you've got it insured, the insurance company runs out there and fixes it. That's what we think. That's what we're led to believe by maybe their agent, maybe their friend, or somebody told them, hey, your insurance company should cover that. But are there any situations that common people may think this should be covered, but it actually ain't? You told me about some things before that you ain't gonna cover.
Yeah, you get, of course, everybody thinks everything should be covered by their homeowner's insurance. It's not. So, like, one of the biggest phone calls we get, especially in the spring, is termites. Mm-hmm. People see the swarm of termites, they call, think, hey, that's covered by my homeowner's insurance, but actually termite damage isn't covered by your homeowner's insurance. regular maintenance that you got to do on a house, like we had one the other day where their soffit just rotted and fell off the house. It was just due to lack of maintenance, the way the house possibly could have been constructed, some things like that. Maintenance issues aren't covered. It's not a maintenance policy. It's, the mortgage companies call it hazard insurance. So it's there for the fire, the theft, the windstorm, the tornado, the hail, frozen pipes, busted pipes, those type of things. It's not a maintenance policy on your house.
So how do you prevent that kind of stuff? Like I would never know on something like that. How can you become aware of all these things?
Main thing is, if you got a question, have contact with your agent. That's why he's there. That's why he gets paid a commission. If you got a question about what's covered or what's not, contact your agent.
Insurance agent?
Insurance agent.
Okay.
Yeah, contact your insurance agent. If you got a question. Main thing, I see is, and I'm paranoid and I'm OCD, so I go up underneath my house twice a year. Well, my wife found a water leak the other day in our house. If we'd have just left that alone, it would have been thousands and thousands of dollars worth of damage. But hey, we got on it right away, got the water turned off, got a new piece of pipe put in, no damage whatsoever. So the main thing is, know your house. Like my wife heard a little sound that wasn't normal. It's like, hey, where's this sound coming from? Well, it was a little rupture in a copper pipe. It was hitting the subfloor. So we got the water turned off, got the plumber out, got the pipe cut out, new pipe put in, no damage. Boom. If I'd let that go on for days or weeks or even months, it could have been thousands and thousands of dollars worth of damage. So the main thing is know your house, do your routine maintenance. Like I say, I go up underneath my house twice a year, and I ain't saying everybody's got to do that. I'm just paranoid. So I go up underneath mine, I look, see if I got any leaks, things like that, just for my peace of mind.
So Roy Fraser sounds like to me, if you use him, he'll go up under your house twice a year.
Is that how?
Did I hear that right?
No. You go up underneath your own. Go up underneath your own house.
I misheard
Now,
that.
a lot of these houses today are being built on slabs. So, like a lot of the issues that that someone will have on a crawl space, they're not going to have that issue on a slab because they're not going to have that leak underneath the house per se. That's going to rot the subfloor or something like that. So, there are two different type of houses. You got them on the crawl space. You got them on the slab. And so slab houses don't have some of the problems that crawl space houses have. And crawl space houses don't have some of the problems that slab houses would have.
What about a busted pipe? Everybody's big fear on a slab is, what if my pipe busts and I have to jackhammer the slab? Is that a homeowner's coverage?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you got to get to the pipe.
Okay.
So if it's underneath the house, we go underneath the house. If it's through concrete, we go through concrete. You got to get to that pipe and the damage that it causes to fix that.
Tell me some things that I would assume is going to be protected by my homeowner's insurance. Like, let's say if I bought a rental house, I didn't have it inspected, so therefore I didn't know the condition of the roof, but you insured it. Okay. Then we have some kind of a rainstorm and it leaks. Then I have some damage. I've got some drywall damage. I've got some flooring damage, stuff like that. What would happen?
Well, of course, you're going to call the claim in. We're going to send an adjuster out to come look at that, and see what, number one, you got to find out what's the cause of the damage. Is it a leaking pipe? Is it a leaking roof? What's causing that damage? So we got to get to the cause first. And then you look at the cause and see if that's a covered peril. If you've just got an old worn out roof because Tommy's cheap and Tommy hadn't put a roof on the house in 30 years, then that might not be covered because here again, it's lack of maintenance.
Well, let's slow that down.
I like it. I like the way you talk.
Okay, so if I bought this house, let's just say the roof's 18 years old. I didn't want to replace it because I'm cheap. Maybe I paid a little too much for the house. Then it's insured with Farm Bureau. Now we have a leak. You come out there and you're like, no, hold up on that car wash. And you start looking around and you're like, well, this roof's too old. Even though we insured it, now we're not going to insure that.
Well, actually, we'd have had that conversation beforehand because I would have come out and looked at the roof and said, hey, Tommy, that roof's kind of old right there. Let's talk about that roof for a second because it's 18 years old, 20 years old. Mm-hmm. Then also what we find, not as much, and I know y'all do a good job in your disclosures, but sometimes, let's say you're selling a house for someone. They will have been paid for a roof 2 years ago, and they didn't put that roof back on. They put that money in their pocket.
We're going to talk about that in a little bit, the credit reports and things like that.
We'll come back to that then. But it's going to depend on the cause loss, but hopefully we're going to have that conversation up front, like, hey, Tommy, you're getting a good deal on this house. One of the reasons you're getting a good deal is that roof's kind of bad. You need to replace that roof. But like I said, if it's just because it's an old, worn-out roof, most of your insurance companies are not going to cover that claim because you failed to maintain that property. Now, if a tornado comes and lifts the roof up, and it gets wet from that, different story. But if it's just an old, worn-out roof, most companies are not going to pay because we're not your maintenance company. We're your insurance company.
Well, what if it's within the first week of me owning it, and I've got insurance. So what if, okay.
Wouldn't it have to be a wind damage or
Wind,
something?
something like that causes the loss. Exactly.
Well, okay, let's say you didn't have that conversation with me. Let's say we rushed because I'm very impatient, I don't want to hear anything, and we get to the point where you're telling me, hey man, we've gone out there, we've inspected it, this roof was too old to begin with, we should not have insured it. What's the repercussions? What happens after that? And if some of this is against Farm Bureau language, well, we don't have to keep talking about it if it's illegal content.
No, I mean, you're looking at what ifs, until you get an adjuster out there, it's kind of hard to sit in the studio and say, well, this is covered or that's covered or not covered. But main thing is, you got to maintain that property. If that's a roof or, whatever it is, you got to maintain that property. And like I said, we're not the maintenance company. No insurance company is. We provide coverage in the event of a wind. We provide coverage in case of hail. We provide coverage in case of fire. We don't maintain that property for you.
Well, I know that most time, and we eat breakfast together a lot, and I hear Roy a lot of times saying that I've got to go look at this house, I've got to go look at this house, and not talking about any other agents. Is that typical with every insurance company that they drive by and inspect the house, or are there some insurance companies that just insurance through the internet or over the phone? Or
the biggest majority of your companies, either the agent's going to inspect it or the company has an inspector.
Okay.
That will go by and look at that house. So I'd say probably 75% of your companies, an agent or an inspector is going to lay eyes on that house and look at it and make sure. And then in combination with the clue report of making sure that roof is 2 years old.
Well, in my experiences, it seems like homeowners insurance is like down to the wire a lot of times, where it's like the last thing people deal with, the last thing they get. Is that speeding up where they're asking for that sooner? I remember we'd get insurance the day of closing.
Exactly. The mortgage companies now normally want it 2 to 3 weeks out, because I think they have to submit it with their final package that goes up to the final underwriter. So normally we're meeting with the clients 2 to 3 weeks ahead of time. Belinda, y'all do a lot of business with Belinda, man, she's awesome. You talk about reasons to do business with a local lender, I can give you a million. But Belinda's got a good team. They'll send us over requests saying, hey, Tommy's bought a house. We need his homeowner's insurance. So we get with Tommy, get Tommy in, and do Tommy's paperwork. One thing, I don't know if you want to talk about later or now, but, a home is most people's most important, is their most valuable asset, their most valuable investment they got. But yet they don't want to take 30 seconds. They spend more time on a Facebook post than they do trying to meet with their insurance agent and making sure that most valuable asset is insured correctly in the event something happens. They just look at it as a necessity to get to the loan.
Right.
And that's why we like to meet with our people, go over any jewelry coverage, gun coverage, see if you own any extra land they need liability for, things like that.
That brings me to like if you own a home and you've got contents within that home, are there things you would recommend that needs to be insured?
Yeah, if I see, so here comes a husband and wife in my office, and I look down and I see she's got about a 10 grand ring on her finger, engagement ring.
Mm-hmm.
I'll use that. You know what an engagement ring is? They sell those. So anyway, that's also a good lead in for conversation. Hey, let me go over your jewelry coverage with you real quick, because it looks like you got a really nice ring on right there, and you might need some extra coverage for that. And if I never met with those people, it's hard to have those conversations. It's just a boom, boom, do it over the phone to get the mortgage company happy. And then a year from now, that nice diamond ring comes up stolen. I get to have a $10,000 conversation with her and tell her, hey, you've only got very limited coverage on that diamond ring. So that's why I like to meet with them, go over stuff like that in the beginning. I'd rather have that conversation on the front end, not the back end.
I got 2 questions for you. So what is just a typical homeowner coverage on a $250,000 house? What does it cover?
As far as price, or
as far as inside the house,
okay.
As far as the house, so if I'm buying insurance, I don't have a clue, and I got a $250,000 house. I'm like, Roy, I just need cheap insurance, keep my house payment cheap.
Okay.
Give me homeowners insurance.
All right, let me do 200,000. I can do that math in my head.
Okay.
So 200,000 on the house. With most companies, you're going to get $150,000 worth of coverage on your content. So that's your clothing, that's your appliances, that's your furniture, that's your TVs, your electronics, stuff like that you take into the house. We're going to give you 15%. Some companies will give you 10% on other structures. So you just put up that nice aluminum fence. That's going to be covered under your homeowners. By Southern Exteriors.
By who?
By Southern Exteriors.
That
That nice fence.
And their website is?
I don't know that.
TennesseeSouthernExteriors.com.
There we go.
There we go.
So that fence is going to be covered under other structures. If there's a detached garage, a lot of people have these little Dutch barns, that's going to be covered. There's also coverage for loss of use. If a house burns down, blows away in a tornado, that person has to live somewhere while the house is being repaired or rebuilt. We'll put them up in an apartment or in a hotel, whatever the case may be, their house is livable in again. There's liability insurance. I'm walking across your property, I trip, I'm going to sue the weatherman. You got some liability insurance for that. There's medical coverage. I'm walking across your property, you're my best friend, I trip, sprain my ankle, I'm not going to sue you, but it would be nice to have my medical bills to the emergency room take care of. That's covered. So there's a lot of coverages that come under homeowners just besides that house, that you think about, hey, I got to get this house insured. There's a lot of other coverages that come with it. It's a what they call a package policy.
So what if somebody breaks into my house? Where does that fall? Does that fall in that contents?
That comes under your contents. So let's say they break in the back door. Number one, we got damage to the back door. We got to fix that. Then they come in and steal your TVs, your computers, your wife's jewelry, your guns, some of your tools. So then that comes under your contents. That's theft of contents. That's covered under your homeowners. So you can have 2 or 3 coverages that come into play right there.
Now here's the big thing that I've always heard people say. When you do that, should you take a video camera and video your stuff in the house just to prove? Because if somebody broke in my house and I got a 42-inch TV, what size TV am I going to have when I call you?
You're going to have a 42-inch.
Or 70. I'm sorry, I had a 70-inch TV on the wall.
Yeah, you had a 13-inch and they stole you 70-inch.
Yeah.
The video's not going to help us. It's going to help you because let's say somebody breaks into your house. We're going to give you inventory sheets, and then you got to fill out those inventory sheets. Well, that video, if you're watching that, might help trigger your mind like, oh, yeah, I forgot I had this. I forgot I had that. And if nothing else, I tell people, go to the head of every room and just take a picture looking into that room, and at least there's something to trigger your mind, that you have that figurine on the coffee table that you got on that trip to Alaska that you forgot about. That might be worth $200 or $300. Because if you just lost everything you had in your life due to a fire, a tornado, or whatever, are you going to be able to tell me what's on that coffee table next to the sofa after you just lost everything in your life? No, you're not.
No.
So a video, a picture, something like it's going to help you. We don't have to have it, but it's going to help you.
So y'all cover up to that amount.
Up to that amount. We just got to have so if the guy's got $150,000 worth of contents, he's got one couch in there, we're not going to pay him $150,000.
Right.
We'll pay him up to $150,000 before he gives us a list.
Okay.
Okay. A hailstorm comes. Should I file a claim?
It depends.
How often should I file claims? And what happens when I file a claim?
One question at a time.
He might jump in.
It depends on the size of the hail. We're always going to have hail in Middle Tennessee. You get this nickel and dime stuff, it doesn't do anything.
That's another question. At what point, you're a weatherman, at what point, pardon the pun, but
I'm the weatherman.
Yeah.
But what size hail will make a difference on your roof?
I'd say you start getting quarter and above, and you were in the roofing business, not that quarter and above. And people kind of freak out, and it's when a hailstorm comes through. All hail does, it just shortens the life of the roof. It's not going to, with the hail we get around here, and you're out in Oklahoma, you're getting softball size, different story, but the hail we get around here, it just shortens the life of the roof. So let's say we put on a new roof today, it's a 30-year roof. We get a bad hailstorm, now that roof might only be good for 15 years. It's not going to leak tonight because of a hailstorm. Well, people kind of go into this mode where I got to get a new roof on tomorrow. Hey, sit back, let everybody else grind through the process, and, you don't have to be in a hurry to get that roof on because I've seen it literally where people have put a roof on at the first of the spring and it hit by another hailstorm 2 months later. It just shortens the life. Most definitely contact your insurance agent if you think you got damage. That's going to come from a quarter size or bigger. Let them come out and look at it, see if you got damage, but you don't have to have a new roof put on tomorrow. It's not gonna hurt your house at all.
That's a question.
Go ahead.
All right, and this could be a rumor, but I've heard if I call and report something, just like I said, hey, Roy, I think I've got hail damage, and you come out there and I don't, does that still count as a claim against me?
With most companies, what they look at is if they pay out something.
Okay.
And that's the way we do it. If we pay out on your claim, then that's a chargeable claim, however you want to look at it. But if we send an adjuster out just to check it out, he looks at it and says, now, Stephen, your roof's fine, no damage, then that doesn't go against you. Now, some companies may hold that against you. I can only speak for ours.
Right.
But the majority of them don't hold that against you. Because that's the only way you're going to know is if you get an adjuster out there to look and see if you've got damage.
Right.
You done?
But you have one.
Okay, appliances in your house, if they start leaking and your floors are ruined, is that something that's always going to be paid by the homeowner's insurance, or is there a way it may not be paid?
Yeah, what you get into with that, if it's what's called sudden and accidental. So let's say I'm gone to work and my ice maker line breaks and I come in and here's water running out my front door.
Yep.
You know, that's going to be covered. If it's one of these where it happens over time, over an extended period of time, you know, months and years, and you'd be surprised, like people, we had a guy one day, he called in a claim and said, yeah, I kept thinking my bathroom floor was weak, you know, I had a leak in it, but then I fell through the subfloor, you know, it just rotted away. You know, that's where he's failed to maintain that. You know, he's failed to take care of that. So main thing is, if you think you got something, always look and try to find it out. But if it's sudden and accidental, you know, especially like during the wintertime, we have a lot of these freezing pipes. You know, the frozen busted water pipes, they're always going to be cut. You know, if it's a small leak over time and you fail to look after it and things like that, you know, that may not be covered.
So I don't need to say stuff if somebody comes out there like, hey, I've been an idiot and haven't addressed. I just need to shut my mouth.
I think they'll know. I had that. I had a towel shower and I didn't know it and it leaked about 6 months and I didn't know it. And so I know a personal adjuster. I'm a Roy Weatherman insurance guy. And so they went under there and looked, come find out it's been leaking for about 6 months. And he said they will not cover that because, like you said, I didn't crawl on there and check, and it wasn't a sudden burst. It was just small leaks, so I had to pay it out and take care of myself.
How can consumers get more educated on this? Because it's a very boring topic.
It's, you know, insurance, like I told you, you want me to come on, hey, insurance isn't sexy, man. We might can make fences sexy.
I get
Insurance-
sexy when we get new roofs.
Southern Exterior, TennesseeSouthernExteriors.com.
Yeah, he'll make your fence sexy. But, you know, main thing is ask your agent. You know, if you got questions like that, ask your agent. As far as you can educate yourself, I don't know if there is a way you can. And I've been doing it for almost 30 years, and I still learn something new every day.
I think we're assuming as consumers wrong most of the time. So give me something that we might think it's obvious in our mind insurance is going to cover it, but it doesn't.
I think that's the biggest one we talked about, where the pipes leak over an extended period of time.
Yeah.
That's the biggest one we see. That and the termites are probably the biggest phone calls I get of, hey, is that covered or is that not covered? And a lot of times that's not
So
covered.
it's basically got to be based off like an articulable event.
Yes.
What's mostly weather stuff.
What about lightning?
Lightning's covered under homeowners. You know, you get that a lot of lightning to central units. You know, we get that quite a bit during the spring.
I got one. What if it rained a lot and it flooded inside your house?
From rising water.
Yes.
That's not covered under your homeowner's insurance. That's covered by a flood policy.
What if I don't have flooding?
Uh-oh.
And then what do you think? You want to have no coverage.
Should everybody have flood insurance?
My lawyer won't let me answer that.
Well, hey, let me ask you a question. When we, in 2010, when we had a big flood,
May 1st.
how many people were devastated because they did not
Didn't have
have
flood insurance.
flood insurance?
You
You
know,
got a question, Stevie?
I was just going to ask, what about heating and air? Heating and air unit.
that's covered if it's hit by lightning or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
If it just goes out due to it's 30 years old, 20 years old, that's not covered under your homeowner's insurance. That's a maintenance issue. But if it's hit by lightning and electrical surge, those are the big ones we see on heating and air units. That's covered.
What if I know my heating and air, and don't do this at home. So if I know my heating and air is on its last leg, and just by coincidence, I back into it with my truck. Is that covered?
What if I burn my house down?
You don't want to do that. We have a couple people in jail.
No, but seriously, I'm just kidding about the backing into the truck. The main thing was, flood insurance is probably not as expensive as people think it is.
If you're not in a flood zone.
If you're not in a flood zone.
Yeah,
That's right.
you know, if you're not in a flood zone, flood insurance $300 or $400 a year. If you're in a flood zone, I've got them anywhere from $700 to $4,000.
Yeah.
What if somebody were to break into your house and just ransack and tear it all to pieces?
That's covered under your homeowners. That's vandalism. Then, if of course they steal your contents, that's theft. Those are covered perils.
I got a good question.
Go ahead.
This happened to me a long time ago, and then I did it. In my driveway, I had a set of golf clubs in my trunk or in my car. Somebody stole my golf clubs out of my car in my driveway. Who covers that claim?
It's going to be your homeowner's insurance. Whether if it happened at your house or even at the grocery store, your car or something like that, your contents are an extension of your house. So let's say you're in a hotel and somebody breaks into the hotel and steals your golf clubs, your computer, that's covered under your homeowners because that's your contents. Now the car insurance, let's say they broke in the window to get in the car, then that's covered under your car insurance.
Right.
But if they steal the contents, that's covered under your homeowners
And
insurance.
a lot of people didn't know that. So if you were on vacation and they stole all your Apple and your Mac and all your stuff, it's going on home.
Under your homeowners.
Is it in your best interest as a consumer to have your homeowners and car insurance with the same company?
Most definitely, because you get certain discounts. Like we give a discount.
What if they'll take away the money, the discounts and things like that? But is there any overlapping things where a reason why you should keep all your money or all your insurance together?
I think so. For number one, from a rapport with an agent. If Tommy calls me, hey, I got Tommy's home and auto, I'm going to do whatever I can for Tommy. Granted, I'll do that for anybody, but just the more business you have, the more you're solidified to that company. So a lot of times if companies are going through, like they're looking at their losses and they're looking at who they keep, who they get rid of, things like that. Well, hey, man, Tommy's a good old boy. I've got Tommy's auto and home. Let's keep Tommy. I know he's had a couple bad wrecks here, but let's keep Tommy. He's a good old boy. Those are the conversations a lot of times the agent has with the underwriter that a consumer doesn't know that goes on behind the scenes. So, yes, it most definitely helps. And like I said, the discounts are huge for the auto and home of having them with the same company.
I tell you, and I brag on Roy, and I think I mentioned before, I won't say at this table who got a ticket one day in the future, in the past, but before the cop got to the window, Roy had already texted him his insurance card. And so, even though he did find it, he already had it. So that kind of shows you how important it is to have a great agent. Although he's seen that, he's also done that for me and my son. Hey, I need a copy of the policy to get him off of it. So it's very important that you do that. And then have somebody local, I think, as far as one of the big local. And I'm not talking about any companies or the internet companies, but it is something special when you can pick the phone up and say, hey, Roy, do you mind sending a copy of this? And it gets done instead of saying, press 1, hold, or this. And so it's pretty important. I've seen him
You're
in
the
action.
greatest.
I have seen him in
You're the
action.
greatest.
And it is definitely worth its weight in gold to have and that's why he is our preferred
That's right.
insurance guy, because he's done that for all of our clients over and over and over. Everybody always thought that Farm Bureau was one of the most expensive insurances because there's a facade out there. And you don't have to answer if you want to. Where do y'all fall in line, or is everybody pretty much equal now, kind of like it's probably a level playing field?
No, not as much. I'd say on homeowners, and this varies. Like, I only deal with the Rutherford County market, so this would be a totally different conversation if we were in East Tennessee, maybe, for example. Farm Bureau is going to be one of the most competitive around this area on homeowners. That's why we get so many from the mortgage companies and from y'all and places like that. But now we go to East Tennessee, that may not be true or something like that. But here in Rutherford County, we're very competitive on auto, home, life. And you get back to the relationship with an agent. Let me go back to one thing real quick. And granted, I think everybody ought to have me as their agent, but I realize Baskin-Robbins has 31 flavors for a reason. I only like chocolate, but somebody likes the other 30 flavors. Yeah. There's great State Farm agents. There's great Nationwide agents. There's great shelter agents. There's great independent agents here. Main thing is have a relationship with somebody. I mean, that's what we're about. We're about relationships because, like I say, if you look at your cars and your houses, those are your most valuable assets. Don't you want to know the guy that's got those insured in case you lose one of those? So
Absolutely.
That's what I stress more than anything is, man, have a relationship with somebody, whether it's me or the guy down the street from me or whoever. Have a good relationship with that guy.
And Costco, make sure you get your camera equipment insured.
I do. Can I ask one more question?
Man, you're running out of questions. Go ahead.
You like my good question, don't you? You knew I had them. And if you can't answer this, Roy, I understand. What is the difference in what you do and an insurance broker?
The general. You ever see the general? What's
because a lot of people when we're doing it, they're talking to an insurance broker that's shopping it to all these different places.
Yeah, the problem, like I said, we got some great independents, so I'm just going to speak from one side, okay? The problem is, let's say you got your insurance with Company A today, and they're going to switch you to Company B next year. That's sometimes common. So let's say you have a claim today. Well, now you can't go out and get it with Company B. And Company A may raise your rates very substantially. So, what I would suggest to people, whether it's Farm Bureau, State Farm, whomever, find a company, know what their process is. Like, we get a lot of people like, hey, what happens if I turn in a claim? What happens to my rate? Are you going to cancel me? Are you going to non-renew me? Those type of things. You talk about educating the consumer. Have those conversations up front with your agent where you'll know, hey, what's your process if I do turn in a claim on my home? What's your process if I do turn in a claim on my auto? Now, so many of these companies have, like accident forgiveness where your first accident doesn't even go against you. So the main thing is find that out on the front end instead of the back end. And so we're what's called a captive agent. So I just write for Farm Bureau, and I can't be all things to all people. I had a guy come in this morning. I told him about he was needing a chicken sandwich, and I had a hamburger. But I sent him to a buddy of mine who could give him exactly what he needed. So I can't be all things to all people. I know that.
So let's talk about this, if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
What is depreciation of like how you pay out depreciation and things like? What is that exactly? Because I think roofs are one of the biggest costly issues that people can have to deal with. Is there something else?
Well, no. We do something a little different than some companies. We pay on roofs. We depreciate the cost of the material only. The labor of tear off and put back is 100%. And then just the material only is depreciated. But what happened, we were having so many hail claims. I think every hailstorm for 10 years come down Haynes Drive.
Kept the money.
People were keeping the money. Roofers were gouging. So we just tried to do something, number one, where we could keep premiums low and still provide good coverage and those type of things. And that's kind of what we came up with. And it works well for us. Some other companies have gone on and done the same thing. And it just depends. And here again, it's just finding the company that's going to cover you the best for what you feel like is the best for your dollar that you're spending.
Okay, let's get on to the clue report. I don't know if everybody here, Kathleen, Travis, do you know what a clue report is?
I do not.
Like that
You
game.
two, do you know what a clue report is? Okay, you two are very, very smart people, and you don't know what a clue report is. So therefore, I'm taking this poll of two smart people, and I'm going to come to the conclusion that most of the people out there do not know what a clue report is. Tell everybody. Do you know what a clue report is? It is, Weatherman. So tell everybody how smart you are.
I just ask questions like a Carfax for cars, and I don't know if that's right or not. That was just a guess. So I didn't know what a clue report was.
So let's say they go back roughly 7 years, right?
Depends. Some of them, because more companies are reporting the clue now, are only going back about 5 years.
Okay. So if you had a payout on a roof 4 years ago, and you even got by the inspector, they said, the roof's fine, it's got a little wear and tear. Then once you go get your insurance and you call up Mr. Roy Fraser,
They went to Disney World.
he's going to do a little research and say, these people 4 years ago were paid $7,800 for this roof. Is it new? So I think in the old days, could people get away with getting money and not disclosing it or paying it?
Yeah, you got a couple things that's gone on that's kind of changed the parameters of that. Number one, y'all's disclosure is tightened up, I think. Used to you didn't disclose anything. You said, here's my house, here it is. But nowadays, you got the disclosure. So, I guess there's some ramifications on a realtor or the person selling it if that disclosure is not filled out correctly. But if someone comes to me, and you don't mind, I'll walk through the process. Someone calls me for a quote on the house. So I get name, I get address, I get square footage. I run that address through a system that gives me the clue report. So it tells me, hey, they were paid for a roof 2 years ago. So I'm asking the buyer, hey, how old is the roof on the house? Well, the inspector told me it's 7 years old. Well, I'm sitting there looking at the clue, and know there should have been a new one put on 2 years ago. So what I know happened is that homeowner who's selling that house took that money and put it in their pocket and went to Disney World, whatever. And so now your client is buying a house with a defective roof on it.
Now let me ask you this. Let's say the events happen, okay? They still bought the house. A year later or 6 months later, or a month later, a storm comes and there's a leak.
We're going to have that conversation up front because I'm looking at the clue report.
So what would you cover if that was the case? How would you be able to cover that roof?
If we can go back and prove that they were paid for a roof, I would think. I'm not an adjuster. I'm on the sales side. But I'm going to assume we probably would not pay for that roof.
Okay.
My assumption.
That
Like I said, we're going to prevent that on the front end.
That would be my question.
Would you pay for any damages on the inside of the house?
Probably not would be my guess. But like I say, I'm not the adjuster. I hadn't had a situation come up because we tried to do our homework on the front end.
So if you're buying a house and your insurance agent tells you, look, there was money paid out on this roof. You need to at least be aware of the situation, and you also need to be aware of what could come from this situation. But you know, right now there's people at $150,000, $160,000.
care.
It don't matter to them. They're so hard to get these houses that they're willing to do it and take the risk.
Yeah, and if I see that, let's say I see that, and most companies can do this. I can, because okay, let's say I know that the client was paid for a roof, but yet they still want the house. You know, they're saying, hey, we'll put a roof on. Most companies can write that house and exclude the roof. But now, you know, you're taking on a roof. You know, you used to do roofing, what's a good, you know, $10,000, $12,000 gamble right off the get go. Not to mention the damage is done on the inside. And we've had that happen, and most of the times they come back through some negotiations and get a new roof put on there.
And most of them know too, because they know they kept the money and then they just got
Exactly, they just got caught.
Clue report is something that's
Got
very good.
caught. They caught you.
Is
Exactly.
every insurance company do the clue report?
All of them that I know of do.
Okay.
Yeah, all your big ones, you know, your State Farms, your Farm Bureau, your Nationwides, all they were looking at the
Everything's
clue.
running through there. Do you
Through
guys
database.
insure fences?
That's normally like a fence, like a privacy fence, something like that's going to be covered under your other structures. So you got that nice aluminum, looks like wrought iron fence around your property. That tree falls on it. You know, it is subject to the deductible. You know, which a lot of times is $1,000 with most companies. It's subject to the deductible, but anything above that will cover. So a lot of times, correct me if I'm wrong, that damage is under $1,000. Like if a tree falls on it.
It just depends on what type of fence, but yeah, it could vary.
Yeah, yeah. Well, let's say it falls on the fence, it falls on the house, it falls on my detached garage. You know, then you got all these coming into play, so the $1,000 is going to go away real quick because you got all this damage.
People don't like to pay those deductibles, do they?
No. From what I understand from contractors, hey man, can you waive my deductible? Can you give me a break on that?
Can you hook me up?
Yeah.
Wow. So
Is the deductibles on roofs went up since we've had all the storms? Or are they maintaining like the same?
Maintain, yeah. Like our standard deductible is $1,000 unless we've got a client that requests a higher deductible. Some companies have gone to a percentage. So let's say you've got a $200,000 house and you got a 1% deductible. So that means your deductible is $2,000. Right now, our standard deductible is just $1,000 unless you want to look at other options to take a higher deductible and that will lower your premium. But on the houses, most of us are buying $1,000 deductible is about the best buy.
all right, guys. Hey, we've gone a long time today. We've gone a little
Man,
long.
you asked a lot of
I've asked a
questions.
lot of questions. A lot of people are on vacation. This is probably the most traveled week, definitely of the summer, maybe of the year. So we have brought in our guy, Roy Fraser, because there's a lot of things that I would probably, how often do dumbass realtors tell their clients something, then they call you up, and you're like, I'm sorry, that ain't accurate.
You know, it's not a whole lot because, you know, here again, a lot of professional
Hey, I
realtors-
apologize about the insult to anybody in our profession. I'm
Thank you, Mike Dwight.
Yeah.
thank you, best man.
You know, most of the realtors are very good professionally. You know, sometimes there might be a miscommunication, but, you know, normally we work through that. We can work that out. There's not a problem.
But the only way you're going to probably understand the whole expectations is by talking with your insurance agent. Hey, we would prefer it to be Roy, but you need to sit down and have all these talks. And usually, like whenever I came over to you, I wanted to get in and out as fast as I could.
Yeah, but if you remember, like I saw some gaps in your coverage. Like, hey, Tommy, here's some potentials where you could be sued and lose everything you've worked for. So, hey, it's worth taking the 5 or 10, 15 minutes to go over that because, like I said, you're protecting your assets.
Yeah.
You know, and if you were, you know, in your situation, we saw some potential where you had, you know, here were some gaps in your coverage. You could potentially be sued and be on exposure for a lot of things, and we can fix that.
Scare tactics.
And I'm just curious, do y'all do umbrella policies as well? Or?
We do, yeah. Yeah, and normally most companies are going to require you to have everything with them because they're umbrellaing your auto, they're umbrellaing your home, they're umbrellaing your rental houses, they're umbrellaing everything you've got. So most companies require you to have everything with them, and they put the umbrella on top of that for the excess liability.
Now, with it being Farm Bureau, y'all, it ain't just farms, right?
Not just farmers, yeah. We started an ad campaign about 10 years ago. You know, we're just not for farmers anymore. We started with Farm Bureau Charlie, and that's where the hats come from and all. So yeah, you know, around here we don't have any, you know, we don't have many farmers left. So most of our.
Have you ever met Charlie?
I have met Charlie.
Did it used to just be farms, though, mainly?
I've been here almost 30 years, and before I came on, that was kind of the focus, and you either had to be a farmer, or then it came in, you had to have 5 acres and things
Right,
like that.
okay.
But now it's for you know, anyone can have Farm Bureau insurance.
Okay.
Roy, thank you for everything. Now, if people want to know some information, Is there anything we can put up out there for them to go to, or can they just email you, or
They
what?
can email me. They can reach
What
out.
is your preferred method of contact, Roy?
I'm old school. I like a phone call. 615-867-9425.
We ain't in a phone calling
I
nation
know.
or phone calling world anymore. We
But
like,
they
we
reach-
need insurance. We
hey,
are.
my mama's on here. Hey, mama.
But they can reach out to me. We have a landing page. You can just Google my name, Farm Bureau Insurance, boom, I'll pop up. You come to my
We
landing
like to
page.
make it easy.
And
You
where's
can
your
You can go
office
to
located?
GoodTimeTommy.com and
Oh,
click
that's
on
right.
insurance.
You go to
There you go.
GoodTimeTommy.com and you find
You
Roy.
can link right
Roy
over.
Fraser
And-
right on there.
And just to know that there's a lot of great Farm Bureau agents. Roy Fraser is our preferred Farm Bureau agent. So there's several Farm Bureau companies, offices around, correct?
And which
Where
something
is
to
yours?
use. I'm located on Memorial Boulevard.
Right
Okay.
across from Reeves Sane.
1806 Memorial Boulevard, right down from Reeves Saying. Go get your milkshake and then stop by and see me and we'll go over
So
your
we're gonna
insurance.
tell you, if you do business with us, we're gonna influence business over there. Hey, within legal standards, of course. But and the reason why is because of, first off, Roy's character, but secondly because of his company.
And it's professionalism. I mean, very, very professional. Every client I've ever sent to him has used him and talked very highly of him, and that goes a long way because it makes us look better as real estate agents.
Nothing can make you look better. No.
I'm pretty.
You're up there. Hey, I do want to give again people that help me. I'm going out publicly and I'm saying this. I don't know if I can go to jail for this, but people that help me, I feel obligated to use them and to help them. So, like my buddy Travis here, if you need a fence, I'm going to push you to Travis. Where are you going? Oh, I don't even know if we can see that far, Weatherman.
Let me put these broad shoulders
Boy,
back.
look at that. Nice. I feel good. Real nice.
Where can you get those shirts from?
Well, you can get those shirts by going to GoodTimeTommy.com, shop, click on. How can we get? Do we have? I don't know if we've got Travis's info up on.
We do.
Is it up on the Good
Yes,
Time?
he's
Ooh,
on our
we're moving
sponsors.
so fast. So a lot of people they want a fence, and you know what? Until you, Travis, you've gotten so much attention. You and Shane Ray are doing a great job of getting attention for what you do. So I now have a fence guy that I'm gonna say you need to call this guy. One of my best friends used him, and one of my best friends is like the hardest man on earth to please, and he's extremely satisfied. So
Who would that guy be?
you know who he is, Super Coach. He takes pride in being hard to please. But I appreciate everything you've done for us. We're going through this through October, raising money. So we're going to be hitting you up, asking you for T-shirts, and I appreciate how much you've helped us out by doing this. Therefore, I feel like you provide a great service. You're great at what you do. I owe it to you. All my friends, I'm going to influence you.
What is your turnaround right now?
We're about 2-3 weeks out, depending on what it is, whether it's aluminum or vinyl, and wood, like 1-2 weeks somewhere in there.
Okay, good.
Do you know,
I'm sorry if I am allowed to ask a question.
Roy? Of course, you're part owner of this show.
Yeah.
Do you know like the specifications? Like I know in my neighborhood we can only have like the aluminum wrought iron or something. Do you know the specifications for? Because each
Yeah,
neighborhood,
that's-
correct me if I'm wrong, have homeowner associations that
They
dictate
dictate.
what kind of fence you can put up. Are you kind of aware of those for each neighborhood?
You know, a lot of them, like Kingdom Ridge, we've done so many. You know, I know exactly. You know, it's 2.5 feet in, and then there's some of them where I'd have to kind of check around. Usually, when you pull in the neighborhood, you kind of see, you know, aluminum. You know, they probably don't allow any other products. Or you can go and drive through and see there's 5 foot off the property line, and you know, on every single house, and you kind of see that too.
So you can figure that out yourself. The homeowner doesn't have to.
I mean, you could get with the HOA, or it just depends on which subdivision it is. But we would help you out through that.
I hate to put up a fence to be the wrong kind.
Yeah, no, we double check.
But that ain't all you do. So you do stump grinding, stump removal, or tree removal. You do all that stuff. So
Yes.
we're not limited just to doing fences over here. You got a tree, a dead tree, an ugly tree, need something removed, we get you covered. Weatherman, anything else I've left out that you can think of?
No, this brain, hey, it's full of good stuff in here. I've been out for a couple of days. I'm back.
You back?
I'm back, baby.
All right, tomorrow night, straight from the gut, controversial topic with me. Hey, are we frozen?
Yeah, you're good. Don't forget about the Exchange Boutique, our
Oh,
favorite
hey,
conference.
hey,
Yeah.
Hey, when y'all say that, y'all get me in trouble. How do you know I wasn't going to say something? Hey, Brittany Renee, my girlfriend,
So we can sign your shirts.
don't forget about her, the exchange. Like her page. If people go like her page, I'd really appreciate. We need to put that up. But she's taking appointments, so if you're a lady out there that's got those fancy clothes, I don't even know their names that she's looking for, but she's signing. She's been very busy with consignment agreements, where if you got something that's not been worn very many times, or if it's nice, you can go to her and she will. Those consignor deals, I think it's 50-50. So Roy, if you're a woman and you had clothes, you could take to Brittany Renee, and she would consign it, and she would give you half the money. It's a good deal.
I'll check my closet.
So, what is, do you mind, what's the best phone number, since this will be live to the millions, to contact you?
Yeah, it'd be 615-982-1126.
So 615-982-1126?
Yes, sir.
So for all of our realtor friends out there, you know, everybody buys a brand new house. The first thing they start doing is looking at fences. Hey, give our guy a shot. Give him a call. You'll really be pleased with his work. Top-notch guy. So we definitely want to promote him. Is that correct?
That is, of course, that's correct. And if you use me or the Weatherman, he'll probably get you in within 2 weeks, he said.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yes, sir.
What's the worst fence to put up?
The worst fence, just like actual steel wrought iron. Like most people say, like wrought iron, they're talking about aluminum, but actually like the real old
deal.
school welded, and it's just non-forgiving.
Oh,
you know, when
are
you're
they
running
expensive
lines.
too?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're pretty expensive.
Shane Ray, hey buddy, aloha, big kahuna. Hey, back to me before we shut this down, because we've been going 50 minutes. Tomorrow night on Straight from the Guts, I'm going to talk about something that's controversial, Roy. We'll talk about it tomorrow at breakfast, but I'm talking about to be a good partner, to be a good husband, to be a good boyfriend. I think a man's got to develop discipline in that area. You got to be a disciplined man to make sure you are aware of the needs that your partner needs. I am an only child, a proud only child. And for me, it's very, very challenging at times to think about others around me. I own this. I'm trying to improve, but this brings more awareness. But a lot of people are going to be offended when I say you need discipline. You need to develop discipline. Is that offensive? Well, women are going to say, well, I don't want him to have to force himself to think about discipline. I think it takes discipline. I think you've got to be aware, because Brittany's been on me lately about, she does so much for me that I just become a taker. And then when she's like, well, I need this, I'm like, then I'll say, well, hold up. This is supposed to be all about me, because you've shown me time and time again that it's all about me. So you've got to really be aware of how much your partner is doing for you, and you've got, like I was telling her the other night, that sometimes I start focusing on what she's not doing for me instead of focusing on all the things that she does do for me. So I think it's a discipline. Maybe I'm wrong, and maybe people are going to be offended. But anyway, tomorrow night, 8 o'clock, Straight from the Gut. I need all you people.
Both of you going to be there?
I can't do it without her.
Oh, that's going to be good. Hey, the ratings going to keep through the roof.
I don't know. We'll see, Weatherman. But Travis, appreciate you coming on here. Appreciate you being such a big supporter and helping us do this. Can't do it without you. Roy Fraser, can't do it without you. So everybody, people that help us, people that help me and Weatherman, we're going to find a way to add value back. So everybody, thank you so much. I hope you had a great 4th of July. Go to GoodTimeTommy.com. See you. Kids, we went a little longer, but I appreciate you being here.
I ain't made no mention of that. Pretty
That's like on the chopping block.
Yeah. That was right up my alley too, because I just called a guy this morning to ask him to go underneath my house, because I do have something going on.
Yeah.
And it's, I don't know, I got a damp, warm smell feeling when I walk into my bedroom, into my bathroom.
You got a towel shower?
No, it's a plastic. What do you call that?
Who built your house?
Are we off air?
No, you're still on air.
Shady. Christian.